I cannot do this anymore, Omari. Zuri's voice sliced through the thick night air, as sharp as a hunter's blade. She stood near the fire, the glow flickering against her smooth dark skin, her wrapper slipping off one shoulder. But she didn't bother fixing it. She was past caring. Across from her, Omari, her husband, sat on a wooden stool, his powerful arms folded tightly across his chest. His jaw clenched, his nostrils flared, but he did not speak. His silence only fueled her rage. Do you know what it's like to feel unwanted by your own husband? Zuri continued, stepping closer. To lie awake at night, my body burning, while you sleep peacefully like a man who does not have anything to give. Omari exhaled harshly, his muscles flexing beneath his skin. Enough, Zuri! No, not enough! She snapped. Because I am tired of suffering in silence. The whole village thinks I am the luckiest woman in Indalani, that I must be the most satisfied woman in bed. But they do not know the truth. Omari, do they? Omari's eyes darkened. Zuri, stop! She let out a bitter laugh. No! Let us speak the truth. Let us finally say it. You are weak in bed, Omari. A man built like a warrior, but useless between the sheets. Omari shot to his feet, his rage spilling over. You think I do not know that? That I do not feel the weight of your judgment every time you look at me? Zuri stepped forward until she was inches from him. Then fix it, Omari. Fix it! His chest heaved. It is not that simple. Her eyes narrowed and she tilted her head. No. Then tell me, Omari, if I am the problem, why is it that I know a man who could satisfy me? The air shifted. Omari's jaw tightened. His eyes, once just burning with anger, now held something more, something dangerous. Zuri, what did you just say? Zuri leaned in, her lips brushing his ear. Her voice was barely a whisper. If you will not give me what I need, then I will find a man who can. Omari's body tensed, his breath slow and heavy. A storm raged behind his eyes. For the first time in his life, the mighty warrior of Ndalani felt powerless. Omari was not the man she thought she was marrying. Her friends would always speak of how lucky she was to have married Omari, the wildest man in the entire village. Some would even pass jokes, pleading with her to allow her husband take them in as second and even third wives, so they could also have a taste of the wildest man in the village. If only they knew he was nothing close to wild in bed. So, when Zuri said she would find another man who could give her what she wanted, she was not joking about it, and she set her eyes on Jabali, Omari's best friend, his most trusted companion. Unlike Omari, who was believed to be strong, Jabali was strong indeed. He was a man every maiden in Indalani secretly wished for. It was no surprise that he and Omari were close friends. Jabali had the energy of a storm, the presence of a beast, the kind of man whose hands could either kill or worship. At first, when Zuri came to him, he refused. Zuri, do not tempt me, Jabali had said, his voice low, his eyes dark with conflict. Omari is like a brother to me. I can't do this. But Zuri was relentless. She knew how to touch him, how to tease him, how to make him think of things he should not think of. And one night, when a storm trapped them together in his heart, she finally broke him, and he took her. Zuri knew. This, oh yes, this was what she had been craving. Raw, uncontrollable, animalistic fire. The kind of hunger that left no room for thought and no space for guilt. As for Jabali, he was just as lost as she was. What started as a single stolen night became an unstoppable, burning addiction. She smiled more, she glowed, and Omari noticed. Omari had long grown used to his wife's nagging, her anger, and her frustration. But this was different. Zuri, the same woman who had once begged him for more, suddenly no longer asked. She hummed songs as she cooked. She walked lighter. There was a fire in her eyes that he did not put there. And one night, when Omari finally offered himself willingly, she refused. "Zuri, what is wrong with you?" he asked. "What do you mean by what is wrong with me, Omari?" "I said I am not in the mood. I am not interested. Is it by force?" Omari did not understand. His wife, the same person who always ached for him, complaining he wasn't giving her the satisfaction she wanted, had turned him away. Something was very, very wrong. And so, he did the unthinkable. He confided in his best friend. Jabali had to force himself to stay calm as Omari spoke, because he knew exactly what he was speaking about. "I think Zuri is seeing someone," Omari admitted, rubbing his temples. Jabali swallowed hard. "What makes you say that?" "Well, she is very different lately. She's happier, but not because of me." Jabali forced a laugh. "Perhaps she has simply found peace, my friend. Maybe it is not another man." Omari exhaled, nodding slowly. "Well, maybe," but deep down, he was not convinced, and neither was Jabali. That night, Jabali quickly warned Zuri. "Your husband is suspicious. We must be careful." Zuri only smirked, tracing a finger down his chest. "Then we will be careful." But the truth was eventually bound to come out. It happened by accident. Zuri lay beside Omari, her body exhausted from a night she had spent elsewhere. And in the depths of her sleep, as she shifted beneath the thin sheets, she whispered a name. And guess what? It happened to be Jabali and not her husband Omari. Omari's eyes snapped open. At first, he thought he was dreaming, or he might have misheard. But then, she murmured it again, softer this time. "Jabali." The room spun. His breath caught in his throat. His best friend's name? From his wife's lips? The walls of the hut felt like they were closing in. Omari sat up slowly, confusion spreading all over his face. And in that moment, the warrior of Ndalani made a decision. Tomorrow, he would leave the village and set a trap for his wife and his friend to see if indeed what he was thinking was what was really happening. And if what he suspected was true, he would kill them both. Omari barely spoke the next morning. He acted normal, but inside, his heart was a storm. The way Zuri moved around the hut, humming softly, smiling back at him, it was all a lie. His hands itched for his spear, but he would not act yet. No, he would be patient. That evening, he would set his plan in motion. "Zuri, I will be going away for 2 nights, he told her. "The elders need meat for the festival, and, I'm the best warrior in the village, so they've asked for my assistance." Zuri's expression remained calm. She never flinched when he left. Omari watched her carefully. "Be safe, my husband," she said, smiling. And that smile told him everything he needed to know. Omari left the village, but he did not go far. He only circled back, moving slightly through the dense bush and hiding behind a tree that stood near his hut. From there, he watched and he waited. Zuri waited until the village had settled into its nighttime silence. Then, she moved. Her movements were swift, careful, like a thief in the dark. Omari watched her from behind the tree, his paws thundering in his ears. She walked straight to Jabali's hut. Omari's vision blurred with rage. Jabali was already outside, waiting for her. Omari's stomach turned. He saw the way his friend reached for his wife, how she melted into his arms like she belonged there. And then they disappeared inside. Omari's fury screamed inside him. He was so furious, but then he hoped that he was wrong, that his wife was not cheating on him, and even if she was, it wasn't with Jabali, a friend he loved and considered a brother. The night was still, the only sound coming from within the small hut before him. Soft gasps, the rustling of sheets, the whispered name that did not belong to him. Then, Zuri's moans. Omari's hands clenched. His breath was slow, controlled, even though his chest burned with rage and humiliation. He had imagined this moment 100 times. He had thought that if he ever caught her, if he ever had proof, he would tear them both apart. But now, as he stood outside the hut, listening to his wife surrender herself to another man, not just any other man, but to a man he had trusted and loved like a brother, something inside him shifted. Why should he make a scene? Why should he let them see his pain? A warrior did not strike in anger. A warrior waited, plotted, and then, finally, he killed. He took a deep breath, steadied himself, and simply walked away. 2 days later, he returned home like he had told Zuri from his trip. He sat under a tree, watching as Zuri hummed to herself while preparing food, watching her with unreadable eyes. Then he approached her. "Zuri," he said, his voice calm. "Tell me, are you happy?" She turned, flashing him a smile. "Why would you ask such thing of me, my love?" He tilted his head slightly. "I just want to know. Are you satisfied with our marriage?" Zuri let out a soft laugh, shaking her head. "Oh, my husband, you ask strange questions this morning." "Of course I'm happy. You're a good husband." He watched her fingers carefully. He thought of the same hands gripping Jabali's back, pulling him closer. Omari leaned forward, elbows resting on his knees. "Have you ever been with another man, Zuri?" Zuri's hand froze for a fraction of a second, but then she let out a breathy chuckle. "Why would you ask me such a foolish thing?" Omari held her gaze. "Just answer me." She shook her head, smiling softly. "No, my love. There has never been anyone else. Only you. No other man has ever laid a hand on me aside you." Omari's stomach twisted, not because he was surprised, but because his wife was so confident in her lie. Later that day, Omari found Jabali sitting at their usual spot under a tree. His best friend looked up and grinned. "Omari, you are back from your trip so soon?" Omari crouched beside him. "I've been troubled, brother." Jabali's brow furrowed. "What is it?" Omari sighed. "It is Zuri. I fear she may be unfaithful." Jabali stilled for just a moment. Then he frowned deeply. "That is a heavy accusation, my brother. What makes you think such a thing about your wife?" Omari studied him closely. "She has been different, happier, but not because of me. She refuses me now." Jabali clicked his tongue, shaking his head. "You are imagining things, my friend. Your wife is a good woman, and I don't think she would do such a thing to you." Omari's fingers curled around the stone in his palm. "Tell me, Jabali, if she were truly unfaithful, do you think I deserve to know the man?" Jabali met his gaze, his expression unreadable. "Of course, Omari, but I do not believe that your wife is seeing anyone." The lie came so easily. Omari nodded slowly. "Well, perhaps I am just being paranoid." But inside, his hatred burned. Days passed. Omari planned carefully, and when the time was right, he put his plan into action. He invited Jabali over for dinner. He smiled warmly, laughed loudly, and acted like a man with no troubles. Zuri was radiant, playing the perfect wife, serving both men as she sat beside Omari, occasionally resting a hand on his thigh. Omari did not react, he only waited. As Zuri poured Jabali a bowl of stew, Omari placed his hand on her back. She leaned into his touch, smiling. Such a loving wife. Jabali drank deeply from his cup, sighing with satisfaction. This is the best meal I've ever had in weeks. Zuri laughed, reaching for a piece of roasted meat. You flatter me, Jabali. Omari's eyes glowed with dark amusement. Neither of them knew. Neither of them suspected anything. By the time their stomachs were full, Jabali was laughing loudly, Zuri smiling softly beside him. Omari poured them another drink, watching as their movements slowed. Then, it began. Turns out Omari had put something small into their food. Something that would cause the two of them to slowly pass away. First, Zuri coughed. Jabali frowned, touching his chest. I feel strange. Zuri's breath hitched, her fingers tightening around the table as she tried to stand. Her knees buckled. Omari simply sat there, watching the both of them. Jabali looked at him in horror. Omari, what did you do? His words slurred as his body collapsed. Zuri's hands grasped at her throat, gasping, choking. Her wide, terrified eyes locked onto her husband's. Omari just sat there, watching the both of them. Zuri, my wife, you wanted fire, didn't you? He whispered. A single tear slid down Zuri's cheek as her lips trembled. Omari only smiled slightly. Now, you will burn. And with that, he stood and walked away, leaving the both of them to die together. Now to you watching this video, do you think Omari was right to poison his wife and Jabali for their betrayal? Yes, some betrayals are painful, but did Omari really have to do this? Let us know your opinion in the comment section. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like this. God richly bless you. Catch you in the next video.